Hey folks, Matt with Banner Sales Consulting here with you today. Today we're injecting a crabapple tree to help control some of the diseases that are going on with it. We're going to do some cross training using our punch tool for deciduous trees, and we're also going to use our evergreen portal needles, showing how the 0.5 portal needle can be used in deciduous trees as well. We're going to start right now with our deciduous setup with our punch tool. The punch tool is just what it sounds like. We're going to use this cutting end. We're going to go right into the tree till it flares, pull out, pop your core, make sure your slide is forward, line up, and give it a good slap, and you'll see that that check valve is now into the tree. I've already got one set. I'm going to do another one right here, and then I want to switch over to our deciduous section. So we're going to use this nice little side right here. This is actually 4 inches long. I'm just going to line it up with my last one, roll it over, and this is going to be my next injection port site. We're just going to, again, line right up. That's a nice tough one too. A little pressure on it. Get your cutting tool in there. Pop it out. There's our core. We can see our white right there. We know we're at our xylem and phloem. We're going to slide our check valves forward. Line our holes up together, give it a good set. And now we have 2, 3 check valves into the tree already. And we are moving at a little bit slower pace, just so everybody understands that we're really trying to train everybody out.
Why don't you show why the DBH is not so important to measure ahead of time and how the tape works?
Okay. So DBH should always be measured up here in the diameter breast height. In case you didn't know what DBH is, it's diameter at breast height. Now obviously, I'm not going to be able to get breast height on this tree. So my general rule of thumb is to do a 2-foot rule. And I know that anywhere in this zone is going to be a good sport to measure. Bring it right on around. I am at 21 inches. If I flip that over on this tape that we have in our wonderful kits, you'll see that that has a DBH on there of 6.
And then if you take a measurement between wedge checks,
you're going to have
4 inches.
4 inches.
But it's actually on the other side of the tape. Why don't you show that?
Yeah. So on the side of the tape, you have inches, and on the other side, you actually have DBH. Now the inches do run at the bottom, but if you'll notice at the 3.14 marker, you actually have a DBH.
So are we line those up then?
Yes.
And you have
3.14.
3.14 is the regular measurement, but then flipping over to the other side,
we're at 3.14 inches. Well, a little under.
a little under. Okay, so it's using the DBH tape. It's pretty darn close to it. That's how the calculate. So you basically just run that every 4 inches around the base, and you've got the DBH already covered. That's how the math works.
Yes, absolutely. And you're using a little larger number because you have ridges and valleys that you have to account for. So whenever we're accounting for that, we want to give ourselves a little bit of extra space to be able to maneuver our check valves into a point of actually being able to translocate the tree. Now what I'm going to use is I'm going to use our slide hammer tool. Now this tool is actually used for our evergreen trees, but I'm going to show you how we can use this for our deciduous trees. On here, I have a 0.5 portal needle. Notice it's a very, very short needle. All the holes are at the tip of the needle, and there is an actual check valve in the back of the needle. That goes right into our slide hammer. And unlike with an evergreen, I'm not actually going to slide hammer this. I'm going to use physical force to just push in. I'm just going to set that. And if you look right here, if you can get close enough, you'll see that it's not like super set to the flare. It's set a little short, and that's fine. And we're going to disconnect, and we're going to leave it just like that. Grab another needle. About 4 inches. And all I'm going to do is use physical force, just the pressure of my body weight, slide in until I hit that flare and disconnect. From here, all we're going to do is connect our gun and rock and roll. So with the portal needles, I love wind. Wind is your friend when you're injecting anything. It's what makes product move through the tree. I'm going to pull back on our quick coupler.
Right.
Select.
All good.
And we're just going to give that one good squeeze. And the squeeze pressure, if everybody looks at what I'm doing, I am not ripping on this, okay? It's about a pound and a half of pressure, and that's it. Anything more than that, you're potentially going to do cambium damage, and we don't want to do that. Some of this is going to leak out a little bit. Unfortunately, we're working a little bit ahead of a canopy opening, so we got a little resistance. All right, here we go. Inject, 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 inject. There it is.
Okay.
And that's it.
And then,
so pound and a half, 2 pounds of pressure. Again, you don't want to squeeze this super tight, super fast. The reason for that is you are going from this volume, choking it down to this volume. So when you squeeze real fast, real hard, the pressure that's potentially coming out of this needle is hundreds of pounds per square inch. Nobody, not me, you, your doctor, is going to be able to handle or tolerate that. We don't want that to do that to the tree either. So now I have a wedge needle. You notice on the wedge needle there's no check valve in the back, and the needle has one hole at the tip on one side only. That's important. We want that hole pointing up because we want everything to go up through the tree, through the xylem, not down through the phloem into the root system. We're going to make sure we're primed up. You probably noticed I've got the water came out of my hole. I'm going to find my check valve. And again, it's about pressure. Notice I'm coming at this sideways. I'm not even right behind it. The pressure needed to do this is just what I did. I'm not jamming it in. Once it hits the back, you're good to go. That actually is a dead spot. I felt it switch over. And that does happen, folks. You're going to find dead spots. Pushing in that one. That's a little bit deeper than I wanted to go, but then again, the pressure. Notice I'm just giving it a nice, easy squeeze. Back out. There it is. One more needle hole to go, and we'll be done with this tree. And keep in mind, folks, I am going in a little slow motion. I call this 1/2 time because I would move a little bit faster if I wasn't talking. There we go, just like that. Again, we're going to have a little bit of drippage on this tree because it is not leafed out, and we are very early in the season, but this is just to show and teach how to use these tools in a variety so you can be successful out in the field and not do any damage to the tree.
So there's a love-hate relationship for the check valves versus the portals. Some like the check valves more than portals. Others are the opposite. They don't like to have to put in these little check valves that, you know, they just don't have the finesse. Go back and now check your check valves here to show them how the portals work before you pull them out, because the portals become the check valves themselves. They're holding the product in there like the check valves, but
that's correct.
You're doing it with needles instead.
So inside of our toolbox, you'll have this wonderful little repair tool. It also has these little tongues at the very back, and that's what you're going to use to push. You can actually flip it over if you wanted to and just push it. All we're doing is we're just checking that check. Once I push that check in, if this was still under pressure, it would have squirted a little bit out, and that would tell us to leave this check in here or leave this needle in here. In this case, I know both of these have completely taken up. So all I'm going to do is go in an exact opposite. I'm going to pull back my quick coupler, slide it onto my needle, let go of the coupler, just put your weight up front and give one tap back, and your needle's going to come right out. And you'll notice there's not a check hole, there's not a check valve. People love it, it's very camouflaged. But more importantly, it's not causing any damage to the tree. Again, we're going to slide that forward. Go ahead. Sorry.
Air is damage.
Air is damage, exactly.
So there's no air when you're using a needle. Whether you're using check valve or portals, you've had no air pointed in the tree.
That's right. There's my tool wound, folks, right there. There's bores that make bigger holes in that. And I'm sure your drill bits do too.
Right. And anytime you drill, you're opening up the tissue to air, and you're getting the tyloses can get plugged up in conifers. But we certainly want to make sure we have the least amount of damage, the least amount of energy to repair these holes.
That's right.
You could come back and inject the next year and not even know where you were on this tree.
Yes, this will be completely calloused over in the next 3 to 4 months. We won't even know it's here. It'll be completely ghost.
Pinhole. Well, that's basically, there's five injection sites on a crabapple of a 6 dBH, and that's $75 when we have a charge, MSRP charge of $15 every location that you inject. And this could be done rapidly, in 15 minutes easily, whichever way you chose to do it.